What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Baada Summit podcast. My name is Kiprono Letting, the host, and today we have Robert Kamaru and Adam Kabiru. These are the faces behind Outdoora Company. Outdoora is an outdoor adventure company and outfitter, and also a hiking academy. They are well known for their Beginner to Mount Kenya program. That is, it takes beginners to Mount Kenya within 90 days.
Correct.
Which I think is a brilliant idea.
Oh, thank you.
So, karibuni sana to the podcast. And so in Outdoora, Robert is the MD and the team lead, and Adam is the programs manager.
Yes.
So, let me start with Robert. Like, how did you get into hiking, and how was the Outdoora Company started?
Mine has been quite the journey. Lots of evolution. Mostly started as a hobby. The first few times started as a hobby, then took a long break, more like 2-year break. Then the next time I attempted it, before now becoming consistent.
Which year was this?
Which was end of 2016, and then most of 2017 was from a personal desire to get fitter. I couldn't climb a flight of 3 staircases without panting like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and some few friends were like, let's try hiking.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Kilimanjaro, a group of eight
Mm-hmm.
friends. And then we were like, let's do this once a month. Let's see what can come out of it. And then we were like, next month, bring your friends. And then we showed up to Ngong Hills as a group of about 15. I don't remember the exact figure. Then came Longonot after that, the following month. Then came, I don't remember what the fourth one was, but I remember the fifth one in May of 2019. Oh my God, the years are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
May of that year, we went to Elephant Hill and we were a group of 105 hikers.
Wait, so it started as a hobby first?
Yes, because we are like
friends?
with friends,
Mm-hmm.
and then bring your friends, and
Mm-hmm.
those friends bring their friends,
Mm-hmm.
and then those friends bring their friends. So we would just come together, split the costs.
Right.
So we made it really affordable,
Mm-hmm.
because I know like Elephant Hill, we paid what, $12.50,
Yeah, that's a
and
good
that
rate.
included the transport. So we would just come together, split the cost. When we get to the hike, you are on your own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just came together to split the cost. And somewhere down the line, I was like, oh, hiking is actually risky.
Mm-hmm.
We need more guides. People get sick. People get injured.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started seeing the other side of hiking. Apart from it just being a hobby, there is need for it to be done in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
That's when now my mindset changed. And that was a few months before I met my friend here, Adam.
Where did you meet?
I'm coming to that. So along the way, I started thinking, how can I do this differently? How can I do it for people?
Mm-hmm.
And how can I make it safe on top of it being fun? And then somewhere along the way, I met Adam. We were doing a traverse from Kinangop. Was it not? Kinangop Elephant.
Mm-hmm.
He and another colleague of ours called Giraffe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, at that point, we had still not thought about this and the way it could be done as a business.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, I was already like, this is something I would be interested in. So I'm very intentional about the photos, taking photos, documenting the trails, recording the trails on my relief,
Mm-hmm.
and everything in between. Then we postponed going to Mount Kenya for so long, and then we eventually went. It turned out to be just me, Adam, and Jidra
Mm-hmm.
in December of 2019. December of 2019, that's the first time we went to Mount Kenya. And then after that, now I was completely sure that I want to do this. So when I tell you Outdoorer has been a long journey, a long evolution, it's that's where I was telling you, informally since 2016, formally 2019. At the end of 2019, after that Mount Kenya trip, I had made up my mind. Now I want to do this formally. Then we started now Outdoorer. We'll complete with the name Outdoorer. Before that, we were doing it as some group called Alpine Troop.
Okay.
Yes, it still exists independently from Outdoorer.
Alpine?
Yes, that's the one I founded with the friends. It still runs using the same model, come together, split costs. So at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, that's when we launched Outdoorer as Outdoorer.
And Outdoorer is something that you do full time now.
I have many things that I do, but Outdoorer takes more than 85% of my time. So I'd say I dedicate my time fully to Outdoorer at this point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's been a long journey getting here. When we started Outdoorer, we were still continuing to offer hiking as something you do at the weekend. And then somewhere along the way with Adam, I'm sure he'll talk about that in October of 2020. That's when we envisioned the Beginner to Mount Kenya program, and took off with it in 2021.
Great.
Yeah.
So you met on the trails,
Oh, yes, we met on the trails.
and then you had shared the same vision for Outdoorer.
Well, at that particular point, we all kind of had the same vision, but independently. I had been hiking, before I met Robert, I had been hiking for about 6 years consistently, one hike per month. Then I joined the group that he talked about, Alpine, for the Kinangop Elephant Traverse, because I wanted to do something different from the day hikes that I'd been used to for 6 years. So we met at Kinangop. We didn't have much discussion that day. Should I
I
mention
laugh
our
because I know where he is coming. Go ahead, Adam.
So my first interaction with Robert was me advising him that the water bladder was leaking.
His water bladder.
His water bladder was leaking. So from there, that's when he asked me my name, and we kind of knew each other. Then during that hike, he mentioned that he had plans to do Mount Kenya, which I had been jittery about for quite a while. Being an asthmatic, I believed that I can't go to such high elevation or experience the cold nights at Mount Kenya. So I shied away from Mount Kenya for over 3 years. Like, I'd been doing all the preps for 3 years, but never went anywhere near Mount Kenya. So he planned his Mount Kenya trip, me not included, because I didn't show interest at first. They went ahead with their plans. He only wanted 10 people, right? He only wanted 10 people for the hike. I was excluded for most of the part because I had not shown interest. Then 2 weeks to the Mount Kenya trip, Giraffe calls me. He's like, everyone got other plans, got other plans. So we've just been left, Robert and I, on the trip. And you know what? I'm not going to Mount Kenya without you. So to tie me, he went ahead and paid
For your trip.
He paid for the trip. Like, I'm paying, you'll come and sort me out after. So I had 2 weeks to shop for gears. 2 weeks to shop blindly without a gear list, without any knowledge of what to expect at Mount Kenya.
At least he had a gear checklist.
You gave him a
He
checklist.
called he asked me about the provider we were using. Oh, did you get a Mount Kenya gear checklist? And I was like, oh, there's one. He seemed to have a lot more information. It's still something I tease him a lot about. The way he is into everything has to follow a certain order, and you have to have all the information. I was like, Adam, I don't need all that information. Go on.
So most of my friends had already done Mount Kenya by the time Kina Robert contacted me 2 weeks to time. So I contacted a few of them, got at least 3 gear checklists, compared them, and now came up with what I need for the hike. Shopped. We didn't even have one solo meeting or one point of reference like a WhatsApp group or anything. And we met going to Mount Kenya. Me here thinking Mount Kenya is just like 2 elephant hills and, just left blindly. Went to Mount Kenya. First night was awesome.
Which route was it?
It was Chogoria.
Chogoria.
Well, of course, at that point, you don't think much about your pace. You think that the sooner you get to camp, the more advanced hiker you are. So we rushed through the camps. Day 1, we were at camp by, say, 1 or 2 thereabout. Day 2, by 2, we were at camp. Then came summit night. Still had not interacted with Robert. I was hiking with Giraffe most of the time. Summit night, I remember I gave up 3 times before getting to Lenana. And that point after Harriston, that was my last throw. Like, I've seen the flag. This is it.
It's right there.
I mean, it's never that serious. So I told Giraffe, man, this is your dream. Follow it, pursue it. Take a nice photo. Leave me here for a short while. Robert was still a bit far behind. So when Robert joined me, I was like, hey, you know what? Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. It's not cast on stone that we must submit this. See, one of us has gone. He'll take a nice photo. We'll work with that. So that was my first bonding time with Robert, because we sat there for quite a while.
We sat for quite a while.
We sat for quite a while.
It felt like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Although I know for sure it might have been, like 10 minutes.
Maybe it was like 10, but it felt like 40.
At that point, was that the point where I couldn't feel my toes?
Yeah.
I started by not feeling my toes. And then as we are approaching the summit, I'm like, Adam, I can't feel my foot. I feel like I'm walking on air. And yeah.
So in a short while, we had Giraffe cheering at the summit. And that sort of gave us motivation, because we knew he hadn't taken too much time from where he had left us to get to Lenana. So after a while, we encouraged ourselves, pushed on, went to the summit. Giraffe, of course, descended very fast. Then Robert and I were left behind with a guide, of course. Why? Because we both had the same kind of problem, knee problems.
So it's a slow descent.
It was a slow descent. And I had a cocktail of things going on, fear of height. I had my face was puffed, my fingers were puffed. I was zoning in and out from time to time. So the guide held my hand all through. And at some point when I was okay, I told him I'm now okay to descend. And that's when we descended with Robert from Simbatan all the way back to camp and down to the gate. So that was my first long interaction with Robert. And at that point, we exchanged our vision, what we had in mind and all that. And here we are.
In the mountains, people tend to bond a lot and become lifetime friends. Yeah.
I say relationships have a way of accelerating in the mountains.
Is it because of the suffering or what?
Yes. For me, I mean, that's what I feel. When you suffer with somebody, seeing somebody at their lowest is not a pretty sight. Especially you say like a man seeing a fellow man at his lowest. It's not a pretty sight. So when you are in that vulnerability and you allow yourself to experience that, and then you experience that together, I think it's a big deal.
So
maybe that's where it comes from.
It's the experience with this hike that
brought us together.
Brought you together, and then that's how Outdoora formally started.
Well, still not formally.
Still not formally.
Okay.
Still not formally. I went ahead to start Outdoor immediately after that Mount Kenya at the end of 2019.
Yeah.
And then you were to join us
I joined in March. Yes, March.
And then Adam came along the way in March. So, yeah, it's a whole evolution for sure.
So I was Outdoora, you offered day hikes.
Back then, we only did day hikes. In fact, it was just twice a month.
Yeah.
We started with twice a month. No kind of structure, nothing. And it was not until October when at Kijabe you said?
So we had been hiking for a while, from March all through to October. And of course, when you're starting up, the crowd that got attracted to Outdoora as a company were mostly beginners. And I like that fact because when I was a beginner, there was nowhere where I could fit in And the fact that they came to Outdoora and fitted in was something that I really, really valued. So every time we'd go to a hike, after the hike, they'd ask us, what is the next destination? And we'll tell them, just look out for the calendar, because we probably didn't have a next destination set in place. So over time, the same beginners, they started coming to hikes. You tell them, now for the next hike, make sure you have boots, get a rain jacket. So 6 or 8 hikes later, they were all geared up. We've taken them through the series of beginner-friendly hikes, the Abadeas. Then they started asking for Mount Kenya. And at that point, we were not ready to, or rather we felt that we were not ready to have a team in Mount Kenya at that particular point. So that's when a thought sparked in mind, because we've trained these people in a series of 6 months, and then now we knew they were Mount Kenya ready. It's just that we had not put plans in place to take them to Mount Kenya. So for us was to now come up with a way of giving these the beginners who are now advanced hikers the opportunity to go to Mount Kenya. And now that sparked the beginner to Mount Kenya.
So it was through like your experience for Mount Kenya, that's when you decided to create this beginner to Mount Kenya program.
Yes.
So like the program, the idea of it is for someone to start just completely fresh, no experience, and then at the end of 90 days to be able to hike till Mount Kenya Lenana Peak.
Correct.
It's also that I talk from my personal experience. It took me 11 months to have the confidence to do Mount Kenya. But even more than that, my peers in that group, the Alpine group that I mentioned, when it came to it's time for us to do Mount Kenya, only me and Jidraf showed up, 2 of us. And remember, there's a large community that was maxing 120 people to the hikes ordinarily. So we realized, as long as you continue hiking by yourself with nobody to guide you, with no kind of formal structure, it will take you so long to have the confidence to go to Mount Kenya or undertake any major mountaineering expedition. So we were like, what does one need to go to Mount Kenya? 1, you need to be fit. 2, you need to understand hiking, have an understanding of hiking. And 3, do your altitude acclimatization shortly before going to Mount Kenya. And that's what we sat down and we were like, we can actually get this together in a period of 90 days. Give them 2 beginner-friendly hikes as you're getting them started. Give them the materials of what they need, how gear and layering and everything in between. And then have them active between every next hike. Let them do lots of cardio. From there, they have gotten an understanding of what hiking is about. Then take them to the high altitudes. Let them have some kind of experience hiking the high altitudes. Take them to 1 more prep hike, and they are ready for Mount Kenya. And if they do it in some kind of structure where they are moving along with people who are like them, they tend to progress faster.
So the main thing is just to give someone to be confident enough to just attempt Mount Kenya. So like right now in your program, so I sign up for the program, then what next?
Go on.
Once you sign up for the program, we'll contact you to advise you that you received your booking. Then I would give you a schedule of events, the 6 events that take place within the 3 months.
What would be the first one?
Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
So the purpose of, maybe I can just jump into the purpose of each hike in the program for you to get an understanding of how it prepares. So Kilimanjaro is mostly an introduction to hiking, because our clients mostly are first-time hikers. They've never been on the trails, maybe Karura or Ngong Hills. So they come to Kilimanjaro as a first hike, as an introductory hike. Then we jump into Kijabe. Kijabe Hills is more of a one-way trail. So that is to build on your mental endurance that you have to finish the journey. There's no other way. Then we go to Longonot. to get a brief introduction to the scree environment, because you'll face that at Mount Kenya at some point, and for you to hike on steep trails. Then we go to Elephant Hill as our first high altitude trail. That hike is for us to observe how the hikers are going to behave when subjected to high elevation, and for the hikers to just get a taste of what the mountain climate gives them. Then after getting that taste, and after us observing how they are their reaction to high elevation, we now go to a taste of Mount Kenya, which is Makindas. So Makindas is very strategic in the program because it's a tough hike, one. The elevation gain is pretty high. So it's our work to now observe how everyone is going to fare on that hike. And almost 90% of the participants get altitude sickness. So before Makindas, we'll have taught them what altitude sickness is, the extremities of altitude sickness, and when to turn back. Because they need to know when things go south, they need to turn back. So they need to, and then at least to get the cold climate that Mount Kenya has to offer, because they won't experience that in any other hikes. So after Makindas, we save the best for last, which is Dragon's Teeth. It's a polite hike.
Very beautiful.
Very beautiful, very scenic. Mostly, that's our acclimatization hike for Mount Kenya. Now, 98% of the participants always summit Mount Kenya, Satima. Then 4 days later, we go to Mount Kenya via Chogoria. And by the time we go to Chogoria, we are sure that the team that we have up the mountain is acclimatized up to Camp 2. So the only other acclimatization that they get to do is between base camp and Lenana. And now the descent after that. So that is the journey of the beginner to Mount Kenya program.
Oh, it's a nice program.
Yeah, and the other thing that happens on the outside, it looks like it's just the hikes.
Yeah.
But there's lots going on during the week. Before the program starts, we call these people, we put them in a WhatsApp group where we share the training materials.
Yeah.
And then we meet them at Arboretum. In fact, we were with this new cohort just this Sunday. So we meet them, show them the gear. We ask them, come as you are to Kilimanjaro. Then after that meeting where they touch and feel and see all the gear, they are able to go and now purchase the gear. And then during the week, everybody is posting their runs, whatever they are doing for cardio to prepare them for the next hike.
And for the gear, you have a gear shop.
We have a gear shop. They don't have to buy from us, but we make sure they touch and feel the gear to know what to look out for.
So let me get this. Kilimanjaro, then Kijabe, then Longonot, then Elephant Hill.
Before that was Table Mountain.
Until
KWS changed the trail and we felt the new trail is not beginners. It's not one for beginners.
I haven't tried the new trail. It's steep.
Whoa.
It's quite something.
And we'll get to it later.
Plan for it next weekend if you can.
So it used to be Table Mountain. That's quite even steep.
Yes.
But anyway, it's now Elephant Hill.
It was strategically placed to prepare them for Mount Kenya Summit Morning.
Yeah.
It's quite a replica of Mount Kenya Summit Morning.
Summit from
Mintos.
From Mintos.
Okay.
The distance, 4 kilometers. The steepness is quite about the same.
Yeah.
The elevation gain is quite about the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I tasted Mount Kenya. That's Makindas. It's a tough hike, bog, especially if it rains.
Yes.
And then Satima, then Mount
Then we
Kenya.
go to Mount
So far, how is the success rate for the program?
Our average summit rate is 90 to 92%. Our average is 91 currently. With the exception of the December 2021 group, they were hit by bad weather. Only 14 made it.
Out of?
Out of 54? Out of 54. But Kawaida, it's 90% thereabouts. Those ones were hit by a blizzard. So whichever group had crossed, that's the only group that made it. The others had to turn back or risk their lives.
For the program, is it dependent on someone's fitness, or you can just tailor make it for, let's say, Are there special cases, or it's something for everyone?
It's something for everyone, because Outdoora focuses on not the summits, but the journey.
Yeah.
So we have a target set for each trail, where you don't have to get to the summit. Each trail has a target of elevation, of distance which you want you to cover, and that prepares you for the next hike.
Yeah.
There's quite a number of people who don't even summit all the hikes in the prep hikes, but they perform very, very well at Mount Kenya. So part of the coaching that we offer is on pace, hydration, breathing on the mountain, the right gears to use, and all this information will guide and aid you to perform exemplary at Mount Kenya.
You know what I've noticed, like with Outdoora, like when people hike with you, people like really love hiking with Outdoora. They would rather wait, let's say, for your next hike or for whenever it's available. What is it that you do?
It's nice that you've told us that, because we did not know that.
Thank you.
I mean,
But I think it comes down to unlock your mountain. We are not big on you getting to the top of that mountain you're walking on, as much as
cha
it
muhimu si
is.
summit.
No, for us, hapa hatutakubaliana. For us, really, it's mostly about you going ahead to do things you haven't done before,
Yeah.
and just making small progress every next time.
Yeah.
And that's why Adam would keep saying when he was walking you the program, he will tell you, our target for this is this. Our target for Elephant Hill is get to the point of despair.
Yeah.
Our target for Makinda is just get to 3,700 out of 4,300 meters elevation.
Yeah.
Because if you are just getting better every next time, then we know for sure, one, your mind is in the right place. You are not focused on the summit. So even if you don't get to the summit, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine, really. And yeah, and it's just about unlocking your mountain.
Yeah.
And again, the demographics of people who come to Outdoora are not typically the youngest people we have in Kenya. Our average crowd is in mid 30s to mid 40s. We have quite a good number of outliers in their 50, 60, even 72 in the last group.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So those are people who who actually have mountains that they need to unlock. You know, when you've been through half a lifetime, there's a lot of baggage you've collected along the way. And truly, we can agree that even in the Bible, people go to the mountains to clear their minds. And yeah, even in the stories they share with us, they come and tell us, you don't know what you've done for me. And all we've done is shown you how to hike. But it turns out you are on a whole different journey. And because you came and found people who accommodate you, people who are not rushing you up the mountain, people who give you time to process everything, you've come out with something even better.
Yeah, I like reading the testimonials of the hikers that hike with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has a different story. Yeah. So Outdoora, unlock your mountain.
Unlock your mountain.
Okay. And you also have a creed. Do you know it offered?
I am a hiker, not a marathoner. The mountain is going nowhere. I will keep a moderate pace to save my life and health today. So if I don't summit today, I can do it again next time. I will never conquer the mountain, but I can conquer myself. I will unlock my mountain.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yes. So, and it's all very intentional. When you keep saying that every next time, it's a promise you're making to yourself before you start the hike. So by the time you're getting to Mount Kenya, when you say it for the last time, before taking on whatever you've been planning to do these past 90 days, you have already made that promise one last time to yourself, that if I get sick, I will listen to my body, I'll turn back and save my life. Because Mount Kenya is going on. It will always be here, as it has been for thousands of years. You know?
Yeah. So how many hikers have gone through the program?
This is our fifth. We had 44 in the first one, 68 in the second, 54 in the third, 68 in the fourth. Yes.
Okay.
Our current cohort is the fifth.
Mm.
So
Just
what
like-
usually happens, there is a lot more people training. There are those who train and go to Mount Kenya with us.
Mhm.
There are others who come and train but do Mount Kenya by themselves. And quite understandably so, not many people buy into the idea of you can be on an expedition of 60 people on the mountain and the expedition will be nice.
How do
And
you handle these
we don't try
large
to
groups?
convince them otherwise.
Mm.
But those who come and who are lucky to do it with us see the value in being in a large group.
Handling 60, also sometimes day hikes 100. How do you handle these large groups?
Adam, how do you do it?
Well,
I'd be stressed.
you learn over time because you see, it didn't start at 60. The number kept growing as we continued. So right now we maintain a hiker to guide ratio of 1:10. One guide handles 10 hikers
For any hike.
for any hike, sometimes even less. So we make sure we have quite a number of local guides on the trail, plus us. There's 14 of us, as we advised. So we attend each and every event. So we make sure at least half of us are in any hike, and then we make sure that the guide to hiker ratio is 1:10 or below. So that's how we are able to manage that. Then, of course, by the use of walkie-talkies to just find out if everyone is okay, having enough paramedics on the trail. Right now we have 3 inside. And then we make sure that if we are doing an expedition like Mount Kenya, everyone has ref evacuation cover. It's mandatory. Then we have our own oxygen tanks, stretchers. We just try and make sure that in case there's an issue, it can be handled the best. Yeah.
And then even more than that, we didn't start with 100. We started with 13, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Now our average is 120 at the day hike.
Wow.
It's been continuous. It's been. We ensure that we are competent to handle 50 before we can move to 60. And that has never been negotiable. When we feel that we did not quite handle a group well, we stay there for quite some time before we can increase the numbers. And then the other thing that has really worked for us, and I know you have seen that because you've hiked with us at some point, after every hike, we send out a link to a form where you share feedback, and that feedback is anonymous. The fact that we receive feedback and we make it possible to share the feedback anonymously, we are able to catch those things that we missed and make do better on that every next time.
Yeah, my last hike with you was Satima.
Yes.
And I liked that you accommodated my challenge.
Yes.
Because I was doing Satima, a double challenge. That means hiking from the base to the summit, back to base, then doing it again. And during that hike, like, you had like many 100 people, I think.
120.
Yeah. But then now when we reached the base, you allowed me to just start the hike right away.
Yeah.
And then midway, you gave me a walkie-talkie just to ensure that I come back, because at some
Safety
point I was
first.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
I
was
think
nice.
that's it. One thing that stands out in the feedback after people have completed the program, they talk of a personal touch, and I had never seen it until Adam brought it up himself. He was like, Robert, you can't be away on a beginner to Mount Kenya program. Adjust your schedule to make sure that you're here. People come to us because of the personal touch. And that's it. Whether you're an advanced hiker in a beginner event, there's still a place for you. Because there are others like you. We put you in one group and give you your guidance. You are okay, you can go. So every hiker finds it possible to fit into any of our events. Yeah.
So as organizers, what has been like your biggest challenge handling hikers?
For me, I'll talk about me. For me, I find it hard to deal with indisciplined hikers, and we have many of those.
What does that mean?
By indisciplined hikers, I mean people put who don't think of their life first. They think of the thrill first. So people who will carry alcohol to a high altitude hike, people who are going to do dangerous stunts on the mountain. Um, I know it's been trendy, and I'm not
What is
watering.
dangerous? Is it like
Yeah, that's
stripping?
part of that I want to talk about. I find it really dangerous, and I know many respected hikers out there have done it, but to remove clothes on top of Point Lenana, it's a really dangerous thing to do. And yeah, people have their own reasons, but I don't find it as the best examples for hikers who are just getting started.
Yeah.
Yes. So I really struggle with dealing with indisciplined hikers. But somewhere along the way, the discipline comes, the outdoor discipline comes, which is not somebody going out of their way to discipline you, but it's about just not fitting. You find yourself not fitting in this crowd. People come and say, "Oh, Dora, they are too serious. I can't deal." And yeah, we just
But safety first.
safety first
Yeah.
always. For me, I don't negotiate on safety. Yeah. So yeah, maybe Adam, you can say what you think.
In addition to that, I think my greatest struggle has been when you have someone who doesn't believe in themselves throughout the program. And we know that they have potential to do so much. It's just that maybe they don't have enough faith in themselves. So I really spend a lot of time trying to nurture what they have and to show them that it's possible to even do it. I make sure I follow up phone calls just to find out how they are doing after the hike, prepare them for the next challenge, and just walk the trails with them until now they get to their summit. If it's Lenana or whichever would be their summit, I make sure they get there. So that has been a challenge because some of our clients usually come and they are prepared, they are fit, but mentally they just don't have the mental strength to believe in themselves that they can do it. So that
To
has
push through.
Yes.
Like how when you're at Harriston, to push through to the summit.
Yes. Because every hike that comes after the other one is tougher than the previous one. So you have to put your mental game in check. And we all know that hiking is 90% mental, just 10% fitness. Yes.
Yeah.
So the mental game has to be on point.
So what's your favorite hike? Maybe one favorite hike for you to take your clients and then a personal favorite hike for yourself.
Oh, Kiprono, that's a hard question. I've been to every year. I go to these trails at least 3 times. So I see them when they are sunny. I see them when they are foggy. I see them when it's raining. I used to say Satima via Dragon's Teeth was my most favorite. But then I get to experience every next trail differently, and I can't choose anymore. But top of mind, you ask me a local trail that I have fallen in love with, it's definitely going to be Dragon's Teeth.
Yeah,
Satima.
same.
Yeah, it just gives me good vibes. I don't know whether it's because we are coming to the end of a program and I look at the people I've walked a journey with and see who they've become.
Yeah.
And then I look back and think I have contributed to this. Maybe that's why I feel so special about Dragon's Teeth. But yeah, top of my mind, that's it.
Adam?
With clients, I would say Dragon's Teeth because it gives everyone a sense of accomplishment. As I said, we have at least 96 to 98 summit rate at Dragon's Teeth. So everyone goes to Mount Kenya with a fresh hope that they finally were able to summit a mountain in the program. Personal choice, it has been Elephant Hill for quite a while, but then I kind of switched to Andare recently, because
Satima Wandare.
Satima via Wandare, yeah. Because it gives me the same vibe that I get when I do Mount Kenya via Chogoria. I don't know if it's a scenery or there's just something to Satima via Wandare that gives my peace in place. That long stretch after the starting point to the summit, that's my favorite part.
So when I'm hiking alone, it would definitely be Kinango.
Which route? From Jabini?
Mutarakwa.
Oh.
No, we always do Kinango via Mutarakwa.
Okay.
Come what may. I know even the recent closure, the infighting between the
KFS.
authorities manning the places, we still manage to do it. So what we do is, if we foresee trouble like that, we start seeking this authorization mapema. Yeah.
Okay.
I've never done it from the Jabini side, and I don't have any desire to do it.
You should.
Because I've seen it from the other
Jabini,
side,
then
so
go
I know
back.
it's tough. I know it's tough for sure.
They climb back up to Elephant.
I don't like to see hiking as something that should harass you.
I mean, hiking, it'll definitely harass you.
Let it harass
That's why we
you,
prepare
but
for it.
don't go out hoping to be harassed.
And then, you have to up the challenge.
Do you?
Yes. Because you recently came back from Kilimanjaro. Because, I don't know if Kilimanjaro was like the original plan for Outdoora, but it was something that I observed that you had postponed. When people are asking, like, when are you gonna do trips to Kili? Yeah. Then eventually, you went recently. How was your experience there?
Can we start with Adam? This guy was dancing at the summit. So why don't we start with him?
It was both your first time there.
It was, and I would say, I think this was the ideal time to do it. We've cancelled Kili more than 5 times. Like, even went as far as engaging, setting dates and all that. Then things just happen. The lockdowns, sometimes we are just not in the right space to do it. So this time round, we decided we are going to do it and not alone. We'll grant the wish of at least 2 or 3 hikers per cohort since we started. And we asked them if they would like to do our Reke hike, to join us in the Reke hike. So at least we got at least 3 hikers from each cohort to join us for this one. So it felt special because now you are with people that you've bonded with for years, others for years, others for months, depending on which class they graduated from. And for me, the experience was, day 1 was good, easy.
This Machame route?
Yes, Machame. So getting to the camp, day 1 was an easy trek. Day 2 and day 3, I don't know if because of anxiety, I just started getting some breathing difficulties.
Why were you anxious?
I mean, I've always been anxious about hiking above 5,000. I've watched all the videos and everyone was complaining about being above 5,000. So for me, being above 5,000 was a huge deal. And now this one, you're not only above 5,000, you're almost touching 6K. So I didn't know how my body was going to behave to a new environment. I was used to Mount Kenya environment all along. So this was all new to us. So other than the anxiety, base camp was quite windy.
Barafu camp.
Okay, it was a rough night. And the shocker was, rather the good thing was that you're not going to spend the night at base camp. You're only resting for a while, then hit the summit trek to Uhuru. The weather was not as good as we expected. But we soldiered on. It was tough for most of us. Half of my face was frozen the entire time. My fear of getting above 5, I was hoping no one was going to tell me that I'm at 5,000. Judging from all the YouTube videos that I had watched, I knew the chances of getting to Uhuru will be like at 6:30.
For a fast hiker, yeah.
For a fast hiker. And I had set an alarm for 5 a.m. because the previous night I had asked the guide, are there any chances of me summiting at night? And he actually showed me evidence of people who had summited before sunrise. And I didn't want a summit photo before sunrise.
Yeah.
So I had set an alarm for 5 a.m., thinking that I'll be at Stella at 5 a.m. So that if I'm at Stella Point 5 a.m., I would delay my trek to Uhuru so that at least there's daylight. So my alarm goes off. I'm like, okay, we must be near Stella. No, I actually thought we were near Stella. Then, because Robert was the one taking the stats, so I asked him, how much distance have we covered? Then he said 1.3. I'm like, okay, 1.3. We started hiking at 12:43.
Yeah.
This
So
is
12 to 5
5
a.m.
a.m.
You've only done 1.4.
So I actually went back to my phone to check if my alarm was set correctly. And then he mentioned we are actually at 5,000. So at that point, I did a self-evaluation. Do I have any headaches? Do I feel nauseated? Just the normal self-checks to find out if the altitude is cooperating well with it. I was okay. From there, the next mishap was because of the cold wind, my water froze. Actually, I was sharing because for the other hikers who were behind me, most of them, their water had already froze. So we were sharing from my bladder. Then I think I shared with someone who forgot to blow back into the bladder. So the pipe froze, and also the water that was inside the bladder froze.
That was a cold night.
It was a cold night. So now we are nowhere near Stella. We only had Robert's water, which was like 1.5 liters
For the whole group.
for five of us. Four of us, for the four of us. So I knew at that point that we may have to turn back at any point. But the fact that we were still okay and now sparingly taking the water, you're not taking the water as though you have plenty. We went as far as getting near Stella when now there was daybreak and we could be able to see and evaluate the distance left. After Stella, YouTube videos tell you that it takes half an hour between Stella and Uhuru. It's a white lie.
It can take like 2 hours. It's like a gentle climb, but by then you're tired.
I don't know who takes half an hour between Stella and Uhuru. Maybe I'll revisit and find
Those
out
people
if...
not affected by
Maybe
altitude. I can't even do that.
How long do you take from
for me,
Stella
my
to...
last hike, I did 1.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was...
Good.
We did about an hour 15 minutes from Stella to Uhuru.
But by then the wind had calmed down. Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But I was going to Kili not for Uhuru so much. I just wanted to see the glaciers. Yeah, I'm 100% sure. I really wanted to just see the glaciers.
Yeah.
So even if those glaciers were at Kosovo, I would have been contented and turned back if my water froze at that point.
Okay.
Because that was my mission, to just see the glaciers and experience the glaciers. Because I know I'll probably be doing Kili like 3 or 4 times a year. So the summit will still have come in the future.
So for Kili, your main worry was just not to get sick.
Not to get sick, because it was the first time being above 5,000.
Yeah.
Then I also think the notion going around that Kili is easier than Kenya kind of gave me the confidence to go through it, because I knew so many people who had gone to Kili and all they told us was it's way easier than Mount Kenya. No one talked about the summit night, so I still have a few people to pick a bone with.
So do you think it's easier or it's harder than Mount Kenya?
The summit night is way tougher than
As
Mount
a whole?
Kenya. Oh, as a whole?
Yeah.
You're putting me on the spot.
Moment of truth. Talk, Adam. Tell us.
Because for me, I think Kili is harder. But what do you think?
No.
Keep quiet. We'll never say this.
That Kili is harder than Mount Kenya?
Yes.
Because I did Kili. The first time I did Kili, I didn't summit. I got very sick. I had to turn around at Gilman's Point. Even at that time, I retired from hiking.
Tell me about it.
Wow.
I had enough.
Okay.
Yeah, Kili, the first time I climbed, it properly broke me. That's when I knew like what hiking is about.
Did you
Yeah.
probably? I'm sorry, I'm turning the interview here.
Yeah.
Did you probably think? Would you say that you probably never said it was tougher because you thought it was only tough for you?
I think even looking at it objectively, yes, okay, it was definitely tough for me, and I also underestimated it.
Mm.
And then I still think, even with my experience now, terrain-wise, Kili is easier than Mount Kenya. But just as a whole, I think Kili is tougher. Although there's no technical parts, it's just. And also look at the maybe the success rate. If you compared, maybe if you were to do a Mount Kenya hike and a Kilimanjaro hike, what's the probability to be more successful in Mount Kenya is higher. So that's why I pick Kili to be harder.
Because I came out of that mountain thinking people just don't have the whole truth. There's that narrative that Adam mentioned that people say Kili is easier than Mount Kenya.
Yeah.
So you go into the mountain knowing that Kili is easier than Mount Kenya, and you're an advanced hiker and you've done Mount Kenya several times. So Kili is going to be easy. And then things get rough for you, and then you come down thinking, oh, there's no one else who says that Kili was tough, so it must have been only tough for me. So why bother saying that it was tough for me? But now that I have unpacked my
Yeah, let's
now
go.
that I
How's the
have
experience?
unpacked my Kili experience, and although I have not yet, there's that write-up that I'm doing, though I have not yet completed just unpacking my Kili experience. As a whole, based on that route that I used, I'll compare Chogoria route and Machame routes.
Yeah.
As a whole, I'd say when you're an advanced hiker, holding all other factors constant, you'll find Kili easier than Mount Kenya, with a caveat that it's in the breeze that you'll have all these other days before summit morning. And when you know that the summit push at Kili is a bit rough, then with that mindset, you'll come out saying that, yeah, it was easier than Mount Kenya. But when you break it down, the trek from day one to base camp at Mount Kenya, definitely harder than day one to base camp at Kili. Then you break it down as summit push at Kenya and summit push at Kili.
Yeah.
Summit push at Kili is hard because it's nearly double the elevation gain with only plus 1 kilometer difference in the hike.
I also like, like Kili, I think it's like the only mountain that it really pushes you to the limit. Like you start like, especially the summit push, you doubt yourself. Will I really make it? What's this hiking thing about? Is it necessary?
Yeah.
Why do people do this?
But I did not feel that at any point. Did you?
No.
Okay.
I have never felt, why do I? Oh, yes, I have.
So you've never been broken on a hike?
Oh, no.
There's one
There
hike
was
that-
one traverse.
Broke
There
us.
was one Kinangop to Elephant Hill traverse that it broke me. It broke me. But I still feel it's because of the special circumstances in that I had left my kid and she woke up. I was leaving the house and she just asked me, Daddy, umeenda tena? Umeniacha? And then later during the day, this hike harasses me thoroughly. And that was the only time I was like, did I have to do this? I've never experienced that elsewhere.
I've only experienced it once. The time that I attempted to hang my boots. So
September 2020.
September 2020. Not even an attempt. I did hang my boots for close to 4 or 5 months.
Just so you know, I didn't think
Did you expect to come back?
No,
You
I
were like,
had
you
even looked for
retired.
another white man activity.
Rock climbing.
I went to the mountain and it harassed me.
Mm.
Like that mountain didn't want me there by all means.
Which mountain was this?
This was Mount Kenya, still via Chogoria.
Mm.
The first time we went to Mount Kenya, we were less informed. Like we didn't know much about. Heck, did you even know the route that we were going to? No.
I did not know.
Yeah, we just knew we were going to Mount Kenya.
So what brought you to that point that you want to retire?
Day 2, I injured my toe while trying to fetch water from Nithi River. I fell into the river. My toe got injured. Then I remember Robert giving me that look like, you are going back. So before he said it, I stood up and just rushed to Mintos. Got to Mintos. The doctor checked on it, said it wasn't broken, but I should not attempt going to the summit. So that said and done, I knew I was not going to do the summit push. I would let Kina Robert proceed. Then they'd come and get me at Michelson because our next destination was Michelson. So I woke up. I went to bed like at around 8. Then my hot water bladder just busted open inside my sleeping bag. So if you are at base camp, you're already wearing your summit gear because you don't want to wake up in the morning and start dressing up all over again. So my summit gear got soaked,
wet.
yes, and my sleeping bag as well.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I chose that I'm still going to do that summit push. I mean,
Chamuhimu.
yeah, now that it applied. And that was my best summit push ever, I must say, because I think I had so many distractions in my mind that I didn't even know by the time I was getting to Lenana, because I kept thinking about my toe, my soaked clothes. The instance I feel like I'm freezing, I would turn back. Like I had so many things going on in mind.
Yeah.
So when I got to Michelson, I actually told them at Michelson that this is the last time I'm coming to Mount Kenya or any mountaineering expedition. I'm hanging my boots. See you guys on a different journey. So I came back, Robert there trying to push hikes my way, me there blue ticking him like. Then he advertised Dragon's Teeth. That was the only trail around that I had not gone to. That's the only trail I had not ticked off my list. So I dusted off my boots, went back to the trails. And from there, I went back to hiking twice a month, thrice. Now we hike every Saturday, sometimes even
throw
midweek.
in a midweek hike.
So like you have this beginner to Mount Kenya. Would you do a beginner to Kilimanjaro?
Oh,
because now it's easier, so it'll be shorter.
Since we launched the Beginner to Mount Kenya program, we realized that people are coming to us not because we can take them to the destinations.
Yeah.
Anybody can take you to these destinations. Even yourself, you can drive to the destination.
Yeah.
People keep coming back to us for the training that we offer. So we developed some, if I can call it, curriculum of sorts. So once people finish the Beginner to Mount Kenya program, they've learned hiking and they've gone to Mount Kenya. So after that, what training do you need for Kili? One, you need to master how your body works at high altitude. And you did the endurance to just get you into the right mindset.
Yeah.
So we have this other program called High 90 Altitude Rush. It's another pack of 6 that goes on in a period of 90 days that prepares you for Kili.
High
90 altitude rush.
So these are 6 hikes.
Or just High 90 program.
High 90. Okay.
So once you finish, say in January, you join the Beginner to Mount Kenya program, go to Mount Kenya. Come back, do High 90, go to Kili in August. We have this third program, the ultimate program. We call it the ultimatum because it's the ultimate program. Ultimatum, altitude, and in the ultimatum program. So we do the traverses there. Do the Southern Nyandarua Traverse, Kinangop Elephants. do the Northern Nyandaro Traverse, Rurimeria Table, Seven Ponds Table exit. And then we take you to Mount Kenya peak circuits. So Sirimon, get to Lenana, go around the 3 peaks, and then come back down.
So these
that's
are
the
all
ultimate.
challenging endurance hikes.
Yes. So how we say it, beginner to Mount Kenya, you become an advanced hiker.
Yeah.
Then in the high 90 program, you become a beast hiker.
Yeah.
And then once you do the ultimatum, we knight you. You're a knighted
You're
beast
knighted
hiker. So when you combine these 3 programs in a 10-month progression journey, that's the outdoor hiking blueprint.
And I've actually seen some photos. You actually really knight people.
Yes, we
we
knight
do.
them with a trekking pole.
They like kneel down.
Yes.
That's really nice.
So we are known to be a bit extra. But I mean, it's a big deal,
Yeah.
Kiprono. If you came not knowing a thing about hiking,
Yeah.
maybe having not been fit at all,
Yeah.
and here you are doing these traverses and going around the 3 peaks of Mount Kenya. It's a big deal.
Yeah, hiking is tough. People deserve certificates, then
Medals.
medals to be
Yes,
knighted.
absolutely.
Yeah, I need to be knighted.
You have to earn it.
Welcome to the ultimatum.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
Nice.
And it's such a beautiful thing to just see someone walk through the journey. Like I remember at Kili, I was looking at the faces of the people we were with, and I could go back to my first interaction with them, how Kilimambogo was such a difficult hike for them. And now here we are at Kili together.
barely a year later.
Exactly. So it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, the whole journey.
The whole journey.
Well, then hiking is hard. Hiking is expensive. We just strive to get that into somebody's mindset from the beginning, that they know that this is a tough journey that they are going to be in, and find that they still want it despite that.
So what are the main tips you'd give a hiker, or maybe someone wants to start hiking, and also maybe for like an advanced hiker?
That monkey is yours.
Number 1, health and safety. Just know the risks that come up with hiking. Understand them.
What are the risks?
Altitude sickness, fatalities. Just know the risks. Know when to turn back if the risk is too much. Then there's what most people don't tell hikers is the gears are expensive. So you need to know that beforehand. So if you are planning to venture into hiking, just know that gears are expensive. Start planning ahead of time. Then it's always good to hike.
Like a Mount Kenya hike, let's say all that gear, how much is the budget for all the gear?
You'll need about 70 Gs, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, you'd still have to compromise. I'd say if you want to go brand new and get quality gear for everything, excluding boots, I'd say budget for around 80,000. And by saying this, I don't mean the big brands, Kina Salomon, Kina Hu. All those are definitely much more expensive. But if you're getting basic, good gear, you're not thinking about the brand, I'd say budget for around 80. If you throw in the boots, then 100 to 120. But then, of course, I'm not the biggest champion for people buying brand new hiking boots. I mean, why would you want to spend 30,000 on a pair of boots that you'll be using once or twice a month? A thrifted boot will definitely do you good.
You know, I recently came from a hike. One of my friends, she did the hike Mount Kenya in gumboots.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw her. I saw her.
So
And I wanted to comment, and then I forgot. Something distracted me.
600
don't you
shilling
freeze?
gumboots.
Oh, the freezing,
Insulation.
the insulation.
Well, actually, gumboots are really hot when you hike with them.
Really?
Yeah, you feel really hot. Like my experience hiking with gumboots, like in Rwenzori.
Oh.
Yeah, the heat in there. But now, of course, as you go higher because of the space in the boots, yeah, it's better with hiking boots. But if it's something you won't be exposed too much to the cold, or if you're not starting, let's say like from Mount Kenya, like from Mintos at middle of the night, yeah, it's okay to wear gumboots.
I found that really interesting. I only know of one other lady who has hiked their Baadas in gumboots. I saw that, and then I was like, okay. Then until I saw your story from today, I was like, okay, I'd want to try this.
Yeah, gumboots. It's really nice. I mean, even with gumboots, you feel like you don't really have to care much. Yeah, so you can just jump whichever puddle of water or any bog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not something I
But
would
anyway,
try.
that's something subjective.
I'm not willing to try.
No, I know for certain I'll try it at some point. Maybe when I'm doing a solo expedition, because, when you're an example, you can't set that example.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, in my position as the team leader. So yeah, but it's definitely something I'd want to try. I'm open to trying new things.
Yeah.
I know you are.
Adam isn't.
You don't have to spend 30,000
On a pair of boots.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
So the number one tip would be just know that hiking is more of a mental sport than a physical. Like, you don't have to be fit to hike. So just make sure that have an end goal in mind. Just know why you are starting to hike. If you are hiking for it to be a lifestyle, without maybe a goal like Mount Kenya, Kili in mind, if you're just maintaining a lifestyle, just start slow and progress into the tough hikes, pole pole. You don't have to dive into the deep end like immediately. Yeah, for you to enjoy the journey, just start slow. Yeah.
For me, I'd say, wow. My tip would be hiking is a sport. It's not just a hobby. If you want to have a good experience out of it, spend some time learning how to hike right. And then out of that, you'll have a good experience. Number 2, the mountains are dangerous places. Respect the mountains, but even more than that, respect your health. When it's time to turn back and you know how to hike right, you'll know when it's time to turn back. You can always go back to the mountains. That's it.
What are your tips to deal with altitude sickness?
One, understand altitude sickness and how it develops. Understand that AMS, acute mountain sickness, is the most basic level of altitude sickness. So if you're getting slight headaches, slight stomach upset, slight nausea, cut your pace. If it goes to the next level, which is HIP, high altitude pulmonary edema, turn back immediately. Get help turning back. If possible, engage evacuation if you can. God forbid it gets to the highest level HIS, high altitude cerebral edema. Be better prepared by having the evacuation cover. Although you don't get to HIS without, chances are very slim that you'll get to HIS without going through HIP. So if you understand altitude sickness right from the beginning and know that the number one way of beating altitude sickness is moderate pace, hydrating properly, and knowing when to turn back, you won't have to deal with HIP and HIS.
Then also understand your body. Use these prep hikes to just understand how your body operates, maybe when subjected to 3,500 meters. Then if you're okay with that, push it to 3,700. Observe how you're going to react to that. Go to the 4,000s. When it's a gradual observation as you're progressing with the hikes, then you get to understand your body better. And you'll know when things are going south and when to turn back.
Okay, so you did Kili. What are your future ambitions hiking?
For a moment, I entertained the thought of, I've never fancied rock climbing. So at this point, I say I'm a hiker, and then I became a mountaineer. At some point, after doing Kili, I entertained the thought of doing rock climbing and attempting Batian. But having unpacked everything and realizing that it was just the altitude speaking to me, I am I am back to knowing that my biggest ambitions as far as rock climbing goes is attempting Ruwenzori.
I'd love for you to do Ruwenzori.
Yeah, it's in my
I look
it's in my
forward to
plans.
I mean, it's been in my plan. I had a whole plan outlined since 2019. At the end of 2019, do Mount Kenya. At the end of 2020, do Kili. At the end of 2021, do Ruwenzori. But of course, I did not see a pandemic coming and changing everything, changing life as we knew it. So I take every day as it comes. I have hopes and ambitions for Ruwenzori. But before that, I mean, I'm in no rush. Be it 2025, be it next year. I keep an open mind all the time. But as for now, that's my biggest short-term goal. I have ambitions of doing the Everest base camp like you did. And thank you for opening the way. I know many people out there do this, but they don't share. They don't share publicly. They do it just for themselves, and that's why I was telling you. I mean, even this podcast idea is a really good idea because it's content and inviting all these people who've been to all these places, sharing their different expeditions, experiences. It's really big, and yeah. I mean, by seeing you do it and others that have come after you, I'm inspired that one day I'll just go to Nepal and do the EBC. And who knows what else? Yeah, who knows?
Peleke what?
Kupeleka nayo, I don't know.
But yeah, I think
one
really
day at a
enjoy
time.
it.
Yeah. So yeah, Ruwenzori again is on my to-do list. Like immediately. Okay, immediately I mean like a 1-year plan.
This year?
Maybe the early next year, because the calendar is a bit fixed as is. So we'll have to plan around it. But Ruwenzori, yes, it's top of mind right now. Then I still think before jumping into EBC, I still have a lot to explore in Africa. There are very other mountains, maybe in Ethiopia, South Africa, that I would love to venture into before doing the Everest base camp. Everest will be my when I decide to hang my boots.
I think I also know for certain before experiencing Everest and even EBC, I know I want to experience all that South Africa has to offer as deeply as I have had time to explore the Abadeas. I'd want that for myself with the mountains in South Africa and especially the Drakensberg.
Some nice peaks there. Okay, because even like I also consider myself as a hiker rather than mountaineer, because mountaineering, it's a lot of technical stuff you have to learn. Be comfortable, like rock climbing also, and then also using the ropes. So yeah, I prefer the walking,
hiking.
Right.
So next segment is the answering your questions segment. I just asked people like on Instagram.
First gift you something.
Tuko na nini hapa?
You can check it out.
Thank you. So I've just been given a hoodie. Nice.
I got you an XL for your height. I hope
this should fit. It's XL.
Yes.
So I have a nice outdoor hoodie here, black. I like wearing black.
I took time to go through your profile and I was like, is it black? Is it blue?
I like wearing black.
Yeah.
So this is very nice.
Fantastic.
So we have a hoodie and what's in here?
You can just open it.
Bottle.
That's some
nice.
Some nice flask for you to carry your Baada ya hike. No, before kabla ya summit. Kabla ya summit tea.
Asante sana. This is very nice.
I know Baada ya hike is this. Karibu sana.
Thank you for the hoodie
You're welcome.
and the flask. I really appreciate it. And it's also nice branding of Dora and black.
Karibu.
Asante
Fantastic.
sana.
Karibu sana.
So, like, is this something that you sell?
Yes. Yes, the items are available at Outdoor Shop.
The merchandise?
Yes, the merchandise.
Very nice.
Mm.
Okay. So let's get to the questions.
Q&A.
Okay.
Let's see what we have. Okay. Question 1. What's the biggest challenge running outdoor?
Adam, can you think
No.
of any? It's been a journey of building upon experience from every last time. So as of this moment, gosh, I know it doesn't sound believable when I say this, but I can't think of a challenge top of my mind at the moment.
Everything's been well.
I feel that we have the people and the systems in place to see business going on smoothly. I truly can't think of
How
a challenge.
big is the outdoor team?
We have 14. We are a crew of 14.
40.
14, yes. Some at the shop, most on the trails. Yeah.
Question 2. How do you deal with post-hike soreness?
That one, it's always there, whether you're an advanced hiker, beginner, it's always there. So what we advise our people to do is to stretch after the hike. Once you get home, you stretch. And then the next day, make sure you do a light walk, like a 2-kilometer walk. Just don't relax, because now the muscles will now go so much lactic acid accumulation. So make sure you are active the next day.
And get the much needed sleep. Sleep is underrated in Nairobi. Just ensure that you get enough sleep before.
That's how many hours?
Enough sleep for me would be 7 hours a day. Science gives you what, 8? Adam is putting me on the spot. Most times I do 5, 4, 5. Yeah, but very important that you get enough sleep, that you increase your hydration long before the hike, as opposed to drinking lots of water during the hike. You find that if you double your water intake 3 to 4 days before the hike, then you won't need as much water on the day of the hike.
And then the next is, say something that you like about each other and something that you may not like about each other.
Can I go first? When Adam joined Outdoora, and a few months down the line, I told Adam, you are the missing piece to complete the Outdoora equation. We are very much in sync. We don't have clearly defined duties and responsibilities in the company, but I like how we are always in sync. And the one thing I like about Adam is he is a people's person. So people matters are best handled by Adam. Business matters are best handled by Robert. And that synchrony has been there consistently. Why don't you say what you like before we get to what I don't like?
Because I might change my mind. What I like about Robert is you give him a skeleton of an idea, and the next time you see that idea, it's blown up. It's something different from what you thought you were, what you are presenting. So what I like about him is he sees the bigger picture in any idea presented to him. I can tell you for sure that my idea of the Beginner to Mount Kenya program is not what it is right now. I had a smaller vision, but he saw something greater and bigger in it. So that's one attribute I like about Robert.
Okay,
No,
now let's get to
elephant. The elephant in the room. I say emotions crowd judgments. And between sympathy and empathy, I feel that Adam falls more on the sympathy side. And that affects his judgment. It's not new information that he is getting at this podcast, so he will not clobber me after this.
And I think
What
that's
does that
where-
mean? Sympathy and empathy?
You see, I have sympathy for you. Oh yeah, what is going on? Oh yeah.
Okay.
Empathy is I am struggling with this, and then I come and take your side and see your struggle, and then now we work it out. How can we come out of this struggle?
Okay.
Because I'm able to put myself in your shoes,
Okay.
while not being too emotionally involved.
I will defend myself.
The right to reply.
I think where we quarrel a lot is when it comes to matters of making judgment, just as he said, making judgment from a business perspective and from a personal perspective. And in my defense, I have been in corporate for quite a while, and more so in customer service. I've assumed leadership positions. And the number one thing that you're taught when you're a customer service representative from the word go is to think in the customer's perspective, get in the customer's shoe, and then now help the customer after you place yourself in their shoes. So that more often than not interferes with business because I will make a decision based on the way feeling that
So like someone is struggling, a hiker, and then
say you're struggling, I would be there struggling with you. Like I can appoint someone else to take care of the group that is ahead for me to be there with you every step of the way. So it's a good thing. I always tell him it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Bad because probably you've compromised the structure that we had said that you're supposed to be at this point. Good because you're helping someone. And as I mentioned earlier, if I feel like you are despairing at some point and I know you have the potential to even go further than you think you can, I would stand with you the whole 10 miles. I'll be beside you and take care of you. So yeah, we conflict on such matters. Others, when it comes to the business aspect of it, we conflict a lot. Because at some point, money will be involved. And where money is involved, Robert steps in.
Adam,
So now-
my heart is not fully,
it's your
fully
turn.
thriving on money. But anyway, out of that,
No, it's still his turn to say something
okay.
about you.
No,
something you may not like.
What I don't like about him is the fact that he would think in the business perspective first before maybe giving my thought a second thought, and now coming to think in the customer's perspective first. Like the personal touch he talked about, I really had to put up a big fight for that to be implemented in everything that we do. Yeah.
Okay, so far you guys still get along. So
We
Oh,
you have no idea.
so out of that, I like that. Adam is the person who will make a decision in the flash of a second. Like he'll make that decision.
and you
So
like
in a
to
way,
analyze.
he'll save the day. But for me, I always need a moment to carefully think about the best decision. And so I like that with time he has come to know that I like to take my time. So if he calls needing a decision and I don't have one, he gives me time to give him the decision. So he also knows that um, if an idea is out of the it's like really big, he drops it gently so that I can have time to
To
spin it
digest.
around.
So next question, it's a good one because we didn't talk about it. It's
Yeah.
about diet.
Mhm.
So you have this program, how to prepare you, and what about diet-wise? What do you recommend?
So for me, I'm not the biggest fan of dieting and everything, but you need the energy. Increase your carbohydrate intake a few days before the hike. Increase your hydration a few days before the hike. If you are on any kind of fasting that you can pause it before the hike. Well, unless it's religious fasting, which would probably mean that you skip the hike altogether. But if you're doing intermittent fasting, then I recommend 2 days before the hike, just pause it so that you're able to load your carbs, so that you have the energy reserves.
So carbs, any carbs, doesn't matter.
I am the greatest champion for natural and complex carbohydrates if they are accessible.
Such as
Whole foods, if it's grain, whole grain, if it's the tubers like ndoma, cassava, all that, well and good. But just trying to be intentional about having whole foods instead of the processed foods. So it's not just carbs, it's complex carbohydrates. They're even good for you because they take longer to digest, and the energy gets to you efficiently.
what about hiking snacks?
Yeah, in terms of snacks, in between the 6 hikes, you have ample time to find out what works for you. But what works best for me are the natural sugars, dates, raisins. That's what gives me the energy to push for the summit. We also offer fruits to all our hikers, so that's part of the natural.
How do you choose which fruit? Or just any fruit?
I don't know. We stack on apples and oranges and tangerines, depending on what is in season. So the apples tend to be in season like almost throughout. So that's what we offer.
And most people love apples anyway.
Yeah.
But for the tangerines, oranges, it's a bit carefully thought out because of the electrolytes.
Very important.
Yeah.
So like next question is, how much is too much hydration and how little is too little for a normal hike?
I take issues with that question because there's no such thing as a normal hike. There's no amount of hydration that cuts across the board, because hydration, how much hydration one needs depends on even other factors as our bodies. So I'd say the one recommendation that we make for everybody: when you're a hiker, always carry 3 liters of water with you. And even before you do that, you double your hydration in the days preceding the hike. That's a safe gamble. If you normally take 1.5 liters of water per day, then say 5 days before the hike, double your hydrations. You have good hydration, you have good reserves. Then once you carry 3 liters, you'll be good to go. But even more than that, it's knowing how to hydrate properly, knowing that proper hydration when hiking is when you take small sips frequently, as opposed to taking large gulps after a long while, or waiting until you feel thirsty to sip your water. Because if you wait till you're thirsty or till you're feeling thirsty, then you're already dehydrated.
Yeah.
So even for part of the participants who usually have an issue with hydrating well during the hike, and they end up finishing their water by the time they get to the summit, what we do, or what we advise them to do, is timed hydration. So say you give yourself 15 minutes, you hike for 15 minutes, then sip your water. That is just to ensure that the 3 liter will suffice for ascending and both descending.
Next question is, are there special socks to avoid blisters? Tips to avoid blisters.
One, if you go for sports socks or hiking socks that are one woolen, two a bit padded on the bottom, then your likelihood of getting blisters will be decreased. However, I'd like to clarify that getting blisters probably has nothing to do with the socks you wear. It could be the fitting of your shoe. If it's the first time you're wearing your shoe, then it's likely that you might get blisters. So it's a combination of your socks and your shoes. So ensure that your boot is a size bigger than your sneaker size, so that there is less friction and less bumping of the toes when you're going downhill. So if you combine that with woolen socks that have some good padding, then your chances of getting blisters reduce. But then even beyond that, if your legs are just soft, you just need to hike. You just need to hike a little more so that you're uzoe, Because I remember when I started hiking, I would get blisters quite frequently, and now I don't anymore. But then when I touch my feet, they are a bit harder. So I need to get a pedicure more often, or even skip it altogether for the purpose of not getting the blisters. I feel it's more to do with how your socks couple with your shoes.
Okay, so final word for your fans.
Go fast.
The mountains are going nowhere. It's always good to unlock your mountain, not the mountain, but your mountain.
You can do it.
can
Whatever
do it.
you set your mind to, you can do it. Hiking is 90% mindset, not verified statistically. But yeah, once you win the battle in your mind, no trail can harass you too much. And even if it does, you can always go back and do it.
Awesome. And you have set the standard. You brought me a gift. So any future guests, you bring the host a gift.
The bar is high.
Cheers for coming.
Thank you.
Cheers, Robert.
Cheers.
Cheers, Adam. That's
Thank
been
you.
our episode. See you on the next one.
See you.
See you. Bye.
Sawa.
Thanks, man.